All right, we're live. It's all smoke and mirrors. Oh my God. All right. Hello, everybody. If you're joining live, let me know where from, how you're feeling on this beautiful day in time. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Bringing some green heart frequency into the field. We are live on both YouTube and Instagram. Whichever channel you're on, say hi. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. Hi, Chicago. Hello. All right. Where's everyone from? Why don't you just type, oh, Paris. Amazing. I've never been. I really want to. Okay. We're here, and in the month of May, today is the fourth live broadcast. Germany, amazing. Sprechen Sie Deutsch? That's I studied German for 8 years. Sweden, I love this all European like participation. Amazing. Hello, guys. Welcome. So. Today's the fourth day of going live every day on May. It's the bloom season. And, this is just what wants to unfold, and I'm showing up for it. And may this live broadcast bring forth insights, beauty, like openings, beautiful heart frequency, whatever that may be for you. I'm just, I already prayed, but I'm, right now in live broadcast, putting it in space also. So you're going to see me speaking into two screens, which is the case in this live broadcast. But if you're joining from Instagram, I'm not posting the actual full broadcast to this feed. You can go and sign up to my YouTube channel, and I'm uploading everything on YouTube as as the series. So if you want to tune into the past ones, or if you don't have time to sit with me the entire time, so that's how you can replay these things. And so I'm going to start with introducing myself because there's like new people joining, and there's also the YouTube. I am new on YouTube. So I am Satya Lights, and I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I'm an embodiment mentor, trauma-informed embodiment mentor. I'm a medicine woman. I carry different medicines, and I'm an entrepreneur. And I am an artist in bloom. So everything that I'm going to be sharing is, shared from multiple different perspectives, integrated within me. So it's not only like as a hypnotherapist, it's not only as a mentor, it's not only as an artist, it's not only like, it's just like this, like in this present moment awareness, whatever is integrated within me, I am sharing that from that space, and praying that everything integrates from the earth and from the God through my channel, through my words, into your heart. So bringing the heart frequency, why don't we just actually, if you are not driving, let's take breaths into the heart, right? Like, let's do 3 breaths into the heart, out from the heart together, to really land into that space, into that infinite field of love and God. I'm going to do that with you, breathing into the heart, exhaling out from the heart. You can put your hand onto your heart, really feel the beat. And exhaling from the heart. Breathing into the heart. Exhaling out from the heart, really landing into your body, landing into this moment, landing into this room, Instagram room, YouTube room, together, right? So welcome. This morning, I went outside to journal a little bit and get some sun. And the first thing that I saw was this like gorgeous spider. And for some reason, I don't know where I, like resonate that from. It may be from the Spider Woman teachings, like the indigenous teachings of Navajos. There's the Spider Woman. So spider, like to me is a grandmother. So every time I see a spider, it's like, hi, grandmother. So so I saw a spider grandmother and I actually sat with it. And every time a spider shows up, there are certain messages that brings. Every time anything that comes into our path, that brings certain messages. And spider brings certain messages that is a lot in alignment with, the series that I'm doing, and like bringing forth those frequencies and whatever it is that wants to come forth with this intention. I'm just going to be sharing. If you have questions along the way, please type it in the chat box, in both channels, both on YouTube and Instagram. So, if you saw my story, I talked about creativity, creating from the center, the very center, and weaving, the cosmic weaving, and interconnectedness. That's why I actually wanted to name this live broadcast Net, which in the Mahayana, the Vedic teachings, there's this whole concept of sunyata, the emptiness. And, like that is the metaphor Net, and that whole story, if you want to go and research it afterwards. There's this whole metaphor for emptiness and silence and listening, the frequencies, like with the 8 foot of the, like the cosmic web, and creating from that listening and infinite expansion into the void, from like infinite expansion and everything being interconnected. So, I have been speaking into creativity, not in the, like creating our own reality, moment to moment spaces. So I'm really passionate about that. And like my work and my understandings and my passion about in this realm, in these studies, like really bringing me forth to really speak into that, our creatorship, our inherent worthiness. And I have been speaking about this, forever, since the beginning of I started as a I don't even know how to do these videos era, into this era. I don't know where this entire weaving will take me, but I'm here for it. And one fun fact that I want to share, my last name, my OG last name, Kulha, is that translates as Turkish, is a weaver. Isn't it interesting? So I love, so I have a past as a textile designer and fabrics. I love fabrics. I love texture, and I love weaving. I love creating those things. And my past business that I've been talking about in the past few days is all about textiles, designing textiles and bringing forth beauty. And so now here we are talking about weaving the cosmic beauty in the fabric of reality that we are moment to moment creating, co-creating. So, one of the messages that Spider Grandmother brings is resilience. And I want to, if you've been in my field for a while, I love going into the dictionary definition of words This is like a thing that I learned along the way as an English as a second language person. Like I wanted to really actually, like there's a sense, the intuitive sense. I know intuitively a lot of words and I have been studying English for a while, but also like, what is the definition? So, and then I love bringing that into the field. So definition of resilience is capacity to withstand and or recover quickly from difficulties. And we are all so resilient and in this expansive creation that we are all participating in. We are learning, constantly learning about our resilience. And today's message is going to be about, yes, I'm going to bring it to the body because I love bringing things to the body and the nervous system and actual healing and really bringing, uh, you know, practical tools to understanding the spiritual concepts that we're talking about, right? So I will bring into the body, yet, like life is constantly bringing forth in, like data and creations into our field, into our awareness to teach resiliency and to, and from where I'm looking, and it can be a little meta, but it is part of my dharma to, as a solar being, double Leo, as a solar being, is to bring forth the light and the hope into places where there is not that much hope. Especially when we're in the difficult experiences, we don't have our awareness goes really narrow in our pain, in our suffering, and our awareness goes into the places where, like where it allows us not being with our pain. And in those moments, we forget that there's hope. And we forget that everything indeed is actually happening for us. And it is not just a concept of like, woo woo, everything is happening for us, and your life is the testimony of life happening for you. Your life is a testimony. Look at your entire life experience. How many times you went all the way deep down underbelly and then came out on the other side with, a little bruised, a little ouch. But it's like, oh, okay, I got the point. Looking backwards, I can connect the dots. So yeah, like bringing hope, bringing light, bringing a perspective, not to bypass, because it's very easy with these concepts to bypass our own healing journey. Oh, life is happening for me. I'm just going to do multiple affirmations and I'm just going to act like I'm happy all the while these things are happening. And I'm going to expect life to bring forth experiences aligned with what I say I am instead of what I actually am. So that's the creation that I'm talking about. And it does involve our artistry and it does involve our artistry as epic co-creators of our life. And this doesn't mean that playing God. This doesn't mean that playing God. This means that you know your inherent worthiness and you are tapped in and grounded in your own love and in your own knowing that is built in your intuition, like that is built in you. You already know that. And we forget it, we remember it, we forget it, we remember it. And that's the ultimate, the weaving of the tapestry of your entire life history, life story, and ancestral history. And then, like that weaves into the collective creation and goes beyond what we know, right? But still, it's happening for us. It's happening as us. It's happening through us, right? Um, so resilience. One of the things that the spider grandmother like really reminds us at times when she shows up in our field, it's like, okay, you may be going through this, and remember who you have been. Remember all the places you have been, and you are here. And in those moments of like having narrow focus, narrow, um, like painful situations where you forget your expansiveness, I, I taught myself to actually expand beyond that moment and travel into the larger awareness to only to see. Because when we expand our awareness, we can actually look down and see, oh, okay, like this may be happening for this. And coming back down with that perspective that we just gained not to bypass our now moment experience, but to actually integrate it and heal and actually to transmute and transform and transcend from that into a whole new level of creation and timeline hopping and changing from that wider perspective, if it makes sense. And it is important. So like one of the the very younger generation that's coming does not will never understand what we're actually experiencing in this day and age as the bridge of consciousness, as bridges of two different realities, different frequencies. We're like transmuting, and like all the shadow work that we're actually doing, we are setting up, we're the new ancestors for them that are setting up a whole new way of being. So when we are actually noticing, and there's so many different levels of awakening happening in this planet right now, and internally also within us, all the constructs are changing and dissolving before our very eyes, not because life is getting this like just it does create a certain level of chaos, yes, because the human mind and human ego and human understanding, that like individualized perspective, limited perspective of us only finds like peace in the known, what it knows, what is limited. That's why what we are like, what's happening is like, the world is crumbling. The world is crumbling, not because like it's not bad. That's why like I wanted to bring forth this whole like heart frequency and the colors and the hope, and like it is happening for us. And yes, times like internally, like individually and collectively, we are moving through some challenging times because we're learning a whole new level of experience, and we're integrating those new realities. We don't know like these new things. I wasn't born into this level of being. I am becoming, and you are becoming. You are the bridge, especially like the 70s, 80s, 90s children, like family. We are the bridge. We are the bridge of the underworld, the darkness and the traumas that we've been trying to, like resolve here and now. And the ones who know there's a whole new level of being that our hearts know it's possible, like Charles Eisenstein says in his book. He has a whole book. I really also want to create a book club in the portal. If you're in portal, that's news for you. So our heart knows what's possible, but we are coming from a whole new, a whole old paradigm of like trauma, drama, and ways of being. and then there's new like ancient technologies are coming online that we're connecting, and we know there's a whole new level of being is possible, even though we're not maybe currently experiencing it. We know some deep down, like we're connected to everything. Indra's net, like the spider web, right? So really grounding those energies, so the as the bridge generations, learning what we learn, and we are going through our own initiations, own hardships, own underworld initiations, own clearing old karma and dark, like, like stuff, trauma, into turning and transmuting into our dharma and our light and our service. I didn't know any of this. This is, God developing me into the version that, like meant for me to be. And I'm following those initiations and going through those like challenges and cleaning karmas and transmuting the old stuff into here. And it doesn't always look really rainbows and butterflies and the parrots and like the colorful wow experience. And you know this, and you know this, and you know this, and you forget it, and you remember it, and you just like, just go into your pain sometimes, and you just don't, like there are sometimes like you can't be with it, and there are things that you cope with. And like I always, like majority of the time what I talk about is the really the underbelly of the dark dense stuff, the trauma and the drama. But I like, my prayer is to be the living breathing example of, like, if we actually dare to go there and hungry to change, and it, like, when it's our time and we are being called to do that kind of work, on the other side of it, there's radiance. There's a whole new level of resilience that we can weather different storms. Like trees, we're becoming more grounded if you're actually bringing it into the ground. We are spreading our roots to this earth and bringing forth like what we are integrating through our healing and creating a whole new level of being into the next generations. And there's so many different levels of service that's happening. You may not be an Instagram person or like social media person sharing your insights and like serving and supporting groups and stewarding groups of people. You may not be that, but you're very being in your highest expression and in your truth is rippling through time and space, beyond our understanding. It's happening. So our individual work that we are integrating and doing inside of us, and there's different seasons, internal seasons into this. That's why I'm calling these things are the bloom season, because I do feel I have spent quite a while, even if it didn't translate there, like maybe in like where you're watching from. I have spent some deep amount of time in the underworld, 37 years to be exact. Oh my God. So to bringing everything into the ground, into the body. That's why I'm saying we're a bridge, but we are not going to be serving like in our fullest capacity if we are not coming into our bodies. Our bodies is the bridge of the heavens and the earth. And there gets to be this like opening for the entire energetics, the life force energy to flow without blockages inside of us. And I mean, when we actually start opening those blockages and cleaning and clearing those traumas that are stuck into our bodies, into our entire system, there's a whole new life that comes and shines through. Someone was I mean, I always get this, but like I actually heard someone else say it on Instagram, saying they were communicating with a grown woman that was like 90 years old, but actually looked like 60 something. And he asked, like, what is your secret? My secret is actually really, cleaning and clearing my old karma. We're not supposed to age that fast. The energies that are blocked are the sole reason of the disease that we're experiencing in high rates on planet Earth right now. So as we clean and clear, as we integrate, as we start circulating more life force energy, more prana in our being, we are actually, moving on a whole new time. The time, our perception of time changes. The way our skin shines differently, the way that our eyes shines differently. There's one community member here on my Instagram. He has a whole study about like the limbo ring, that's called, around eyes. When we do our shadow work, like if you have, I mean, that's his study. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it's like interesting. Your eye color changes as you do your work. That's his thesis that he shared with me. And, my eye color changed, my skin color changed. There are certain glazes and like, programmings that happen and that move us, like those masks that we wear. And we don't see it until we see it. We don't see it until we see it. I go back to my like 24-year-old self. Like, I have so much compassion for that, like, young woman. I love her so much. I'm so grateful for the path that she walked. Yet I feel more alive than that version of me. I carry more life, more like, like that oomph of life. And that also, like, this path brings for like the radiance itself. And like it's a spiral fashion, upward spiral. It's not like it's not bad. That was in that now moment the highest expression of what was possible for me. And in this moment, this is how you look, is the highest expression of what's possible for you, right? It's not good or bad. It just is. And how do we work with it? So I just talked about the spiral. I want to speak about, the one of the messages that Spider Grandmother brings. It's um, the cycle of life, right? It talks about the cycle of life. And when we just talked about it, like the fabric of reality being built by our ancestors, and there's like all these cycles of life happening and building the entire creation and the, human consciousness and beyond. And the cycle of life. So there are perspectives. It's not like this is happening. We're always moving in spirals. Yet, at some times when we are looking from a perspective of like closed energy building onto each other, and like trauma being activated, this, like I can give an example, like not cosmically, but let's say trauma is being activated and it's the energy is moving in the closed circle. You're not moving the energy and you're being triggered and you're reacting and you're recreating, like the outcomes that you don't want to create consciously, right? Like that is, you're in a cycle. you're in a cycle. But that cycle is actually, from a different perspective, can be seen as a spiral, yet is it inviting you into awakening and breaking that cycle. It may look like, at some, like from where we are looking, we're not making any progress, yet each and every time you're in a loop, we're always doing progress, always doing progress. It just depends how you define progress. If, like, the creating a whole new reality gets to happen with, from the perspective of circle and getting stuck in a cycle, you break the cycle and then you start an upward spiral, and really surrendering into where the life and the energy and the fabric of that reality is bringing you, with your co-creation and participation. Without you participating in this, it will happen, but it will, like, the result that it's going to create with your participation and with your default programming, it's totally different results, if it makes sense, different outcomes. So really taking responsibility, if you're being called, like, if you consciously know that, so, like, going into the conscious and the subconscious mind, it works total differently. That's why we say who we say we are and who we actually are totally different if you're not really consciously doing the alignment work. So, consciously, if you know there's something that you want to create, what are the tools and the pathways that you follow to really create that? And where you're creating from, which energetics, basically, right? Where you're creating from, which energetics is going to affect the results. And there's infinite possibilities in the realm of opportunities. And that can look like just another experience with the same undercurrent frequency, or a whole new level of experience that is moving you into a whole new expression of you, and whole new leading edge of you, whole new creativity, whole new light. And there's no right or wrong way of doing. We just get to choose. And what we're choosing is, we're always choosing, right? Where we're choosing from, like, are we choosing from, like, so there's also levels to that. Choosing for self, like ego, so, or like being, working with, like, what wants to happen, like, what is the highest expression. My prayer is like, may my will be thy will. So, like, because what I know possible is limited with my programmings, different than what God has in store for me. I couldn't have imagined this life if I were to create on my own. Does it make sense? So how do we make the nature and the God, and, like, like your intuition and your inner knowing, the ally, and learn to listen from the very center of your creation? Because the macro and the micro, right? Like, the Indra's net, the eight-legged spider grandmother is sitting and listening to the pulse of creation. Are you sitting in your center, in your silence, sunyata, which is a whole big concept for especially a lot of us? Like, it is a great concept. We can use the concepts, these, like, large concepts, into like, bring and meditate with them. So how do we bring the inner grandmother spider into the center of our being and listen to the pulse of creation and what wants to be created through us as us? And consciously, you are, also picking up, your highest mission, highest alignment, highest purpose. There are things that you pick up, but like, there's a distortions also inside. So how do we break through those distortions so that the energy can flow freely, so we can hear clearly, so we're connected to the roots and to God and with an open heart. And this field opens when we are connected and being, like bringing forth these, like this torus field moving upward and downward and opening in this, creating this field. If it makes sense, if I were to give you a visualization of like how the energetics are working. Otherwise, like if we're distorted, our torus field is not this like fully alignment, like beautiful shape. It's like crooked. And this changes every time something comes up. It's like, okay, are you working with it to really align that the resilience, right? Like we're coming back, our speed of coming back to alignment changes as we learn to move with the natural invitations of our creations consciously. So yeah, I'm looking at my notes. Talked about the interconnectedness of how our individual work is actually supporting all, the entire collective. Once you clear something inside of you, you're clearing it not for only yourself. It's like in your ancestral lineage in shamanic cultures, it is said that once you clear something, it clears 7 generations back, 7 generations forward. And what does that mean? And also it's like it ripples into the collective. So interconnectedness, that one of the messages of the grandmother spider cycle of life, being trapped in a circle from that perspective, or breaking free and moving upward in spiral. And these are all conscious choices we can make. And it may be like a whole new, just a concept, I don't even know. Or it's like, yeah, like I do move through life like this. It can be, or in between, or even further, or even down. Like, it's just like we are where we are. And can we be okay with where we are in this moment? Because we are now in the center. We can only create from the center where we are. If we accept, we can have a conscious co-creatorship. If we're not accepting where we are, we're just moved by the programming. Moved by the programming. What is the programming that we're being moved by? Are you choosing it? Are you doing your due diligence to actually change that? Are you, and it can be no. It can be I'm trying. Don't try. Do it. So, so is it like? Does this make sense, you guys? It makes perfect sense to me. So how do we bring this into the body? As I was talking about, like this generations of like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s kids being the bridge of different levels of consciousness and levels of being. And wherever you are on the spectrum, because we're all called to do different things. Some are creating communities, like lands, and like tending to lands and trying to reverse and regenerate all the damage we have done. Some are going into, like we're doing, like I am in, like in the group of like really supporting deep root healing and bringing everything in the body. There are some like doing totally different things. And there are some creating art and writing poetry. There are some making songs of hope and love and unity. Wherever you are in your invitation to co-create, to tap into these frequencies, because simultaneously as the bridge, we are being called to our deep down initiations and cleaning, clearing karma. And through that, we are being, receiving our gifts, remembering our gifts that we came here to serve. So wherever you are, do not think who's going to need my blah blah, who's going to need my poetry, who's going to need my words, who's going to need my art. Like, am I serving? Yes, you are. That, like, the frequency in which that you operate matters, period. And watching, if you're aware of what's happening in the general narrative, there's like a lot of fear hooks and propagandas. It's like, this is happening. It's like, are we going to be buying into the fear and get hooked by the fear of, like, we're breaking apart and everything going through shit show, which is, but we don't have to fear that if we actually tap into the heart. So if you are being hooked by the fear, check with what you get to cleanse and clear and transcend within you. I know it very, 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 intimately, being hooked by the fear from my own personal experience. And when that happens, I go into the collapse. I'm like, oh my God, my life. And how am I going to survive? And when I remember, okay, like now this is, if I am like swayed, like that's the resiliency, finding the center. Oh, like something got hooked from, like, fear can only hook you from your traumas. If you're being operated, if you have a lot of fear, anxiety about your future, about like what those energies only can hook into your energetic field through your traumas. So that is an invite for you now to actually clear and step into the center. That's how you can be hooked by the fear propagandas. So that, once you realize you swayed from your center, that is the invitation. Okay, like, okay, what can I remember? And the direct place, even if you don't have any tools, you have the ultimate tool of your heart. Like, really, the Heart Math Institute has this like amazing tool of like a heart brain coherence breath work, right? Like, basically it's very simple, and we just did it in the beginning of this live broadcast. What we did was breathing into our hearts and out from our hearts, and bringing in a heart-based emotion. This can be care, gratitude, joy, love, whatever it is. Find a resource, like find a time that you have like ever felt that emotion, and bring that into your heart, breathe that into your entire being. And that, by just you doing that, will create this like coherence in your brain and heart. And that, once that happens, going to give you a whole new perspective of like whole new perspective. That's it. So really, and from that perspective, you can see where you got hooked, and accept that invitation of actually clearing your traumas. Accept that invitation of clearing that lower three chakras, which is a shadow, like ultimate shadow work. And that is why, like, we are the bridge, right? Like, what is the bridge? Heart is the bridge of the higher realms and the lower realms. And here we do have access to the higher realms through our heart. Yet how do we get into the heart? When we are distorted with so many different programmings and fears and all that stuff that's living inside of us, we don't have access to our hearts. So, ultimate invite here to really cultivate tools inside of you to really open your heart. And from that, within the center of your heart, listen, like the grandmother spider with 8 feet in the center of the cosmos, listening to the pulse of creation. From here, you will know what to create and where to go. But if you cannot come here and come there and make peace with where you are in that moment, you're just going to be moved. So yeah, like we talked about that. So That's pretty much the download for today, really bringing in the greens and the, like the forest frequencies and the heart frequencies into the space. Like your heart is like the portal into the lives that we're creating. And if you are um worried, and like we talked about yesterday, you can go to my YouTube and talk, like, see the symptoms of dysregulation, symptoms of trauma that we may not even know that exists. You can go into that. Okay, you can go into the broadcast from yesterday and tune into that, see, because most of us, we don't even know we're traumatized, which is okay, but your body is telling you. So yeah, let's take a nice long deep breath in all together. And here's my invite to sit with this. Where are you? This is the question. Where are you? Because what we are looking for is where we're looking from. Like, if we're thinking that we're stuck in a loop, and we may not even be aware of that even. So just sit with it, ask your heart and breathe into your heart, create that coherence and listen. Listen and give yourself that gift. Because in this day and age where everything is moving so fast and there's so much happening in the world and collective, we're just like so sensitive. Like, that's like sometimes like we don't even know why we're experiencing what we're experiencing. That is always constantly invite into our center. And from that space, we can only discern what is true for us. Otherwise, we're just going to be moved by the propagandas and then people hooking into our wounds and using our wounds for their agendas. Espavo is the word that I love. Thank you for taking your power back. Thank you for taking your power back. And how do you take your power back? By clearing all the places that, all this energies can hook you. Take your power back. And from that place, I would love to receive your medicine, and I'm happy to be of, service with my medicine of empowerment and hope and really like my light that I can muster up with this present moment awareness. I don't know, may not be light for you, and that's okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, for those of you who are looking for really bringing in, clearing these energies, there are different ways to actually to do this work with me. I'm going to talk about Be Your Own Medicine. Be Your Own Medicine is this ultimate toolkit, healing toolkit. And it's not like I created and I've just like invented any of this. It is, I have used all of this. I have studied all of this, what I'm teaching, and constantly to this moment, using it day to day to expand my capacity to be alive. Whether you are drinking medicine or using plant medicines or in like using other tools, that this is a toolkit that can be utilized in so many different ways to integrate and come into our bodies. And without us really landing into our bodies, we're not any like we're not here. So like we're just being moved by the default, right? Like, so in Be Your Own Medicine, I'm teaching, it's a whole trauma-informed perspective of teaching about nervous system and polyvagal theory, where you can actually see how you can map your entire nervous system and use specific tools for where you're at energetically. And then we go into the shadow work, and then we go into the inner child work, where we go through the entire developmental stages and different healing processes and tools where you can use it on your own. And then the emotional literacy, and there are different tools, and I'm teaching tapping inside of that also. and subconscious mind. I'm teaching self-hypnosis, and really also like pre-recorded tools for you to support yourself until you integrate these small tools. It's not like giant like tools that you have to sit down and do it all day long. It's micro tools that can really support you coming into the present moment by healing yourself. And there are different master classes by different amazing teachers. There's a neuroscientist, there's a depth psychologist, there is a like medical doctor, like talking about microdosing, if that's for you, if that's like your cup of tea. If there is my own hypnotherapy mentor, like she's amazing. What else? There's like six, seven, eight master classes in and of itself, like a super valuable toolkit themselves. So what is today? Tomorrow, Sunday, is the last day of the pre-sale 50% sale. So you have one day. If you have been considering and you're listening, and if you're really curious about the tools that I'm sharing that I use to this day in my own experience to really arrive into my body, regulate my nervous system, and do my own work from a holistic perspective and different perspectives, that is the tool that I'm sharing. And there's also another way to be in my field, which is the portal, my monthly membership community, where like we're a growing community, and it's so much fun. We have monthly live broadcasts with teachings. And also I do offer a one-on-one work. It's called, one of them is Mirrorship, which we do a deep healing work in the, like the mirrorship of like me, and I hold that space. And then there's the Visioneership, which is for those of you who are the visionary leaders, healers, artists who are getting ready to step into this work and sharing your gifts and everything, and you're like really looking for guidance from someone who has done it before. And one of my gifts that are like that is actually in that field is like, I am a visionary and I'm a seer. So I'm bringing those gifts in, like really bringing the highest timelines and building an offering from those spaces. So that's pretty much it. That's how you can be in my field, other than being on my Instagram and my YouTube. And also there's Living Light. Every Wednesday, I'm sharing my writings, my stories, and my offerings on my newsletter. Everything is on my links if you want to just be part of the newsletter and just receive some golden nuggets from me every Wednesday. Go for it. And here's the Satyadelics, like on my YouTube and my Instagram. And pretty much it. One ask from you guys though, if anything that I'm sharing, this lives or like the reels that I'm sharing, if anything that I'm sharing is really inspiring you and supporting you in any way, my ask is to really share it and tag me, and really let's share this love, let's share this like energy with people who may actually use these things. And I am complete. No end. That's it. Thank you so much for your attention, for your energy on this beautiful, beautiful Saturday. I think I'm complete. I love you so very much. I'm blessing you. I hope and I pray anything, like something that I shared is really clicking and really opening that like net of being in whole new fabric of reality for you from the center of your heart. Bless, bless, bless. I love you. Bye.